You and your family are having a great Memorial Day, but also taking time to remember our fallen members of the military. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Michael Wooten. We're going to start this half hour with a rare honor for two Grand Island natives who have risen to very high levels of the U.S. Navy. And just as they wear the stars of Navy admirals on their shoulders, they're also shouldering the burden of protecting all of us with very unique missions. Channel 2's Ron Plants introduces us to Vice Admiral Bill Houston and his newly promoted colleague, Rear Admiral Robert Worth.
They're a couple of Navy buddies who just happen to be both from Grand Island and now happen to both be admirals in very senior positions of the U.S. Navy, who have commanded these powerful undersea warships and their crews of men and women.
A great mentor and role model.
Bob was my deputy, keeping me out of trouble, which is a full-time job.
He had your back.
He totally had my back.
Robert Worth was formally promoted from captain to rear admiral today, with his proud wife and daughters and other family and friends watching at the River Oaks Golf Club, and his friend and fellow Grand Island High School alum Vice Admiral William Houston at the helm for the ceremony. These submarine commanders cross paths in their many tours of duty, both proud of their Grand Island roots.
The foundation of teamwork and taking care of each other, and that's really what it's about being in the submarine force, is taking care of all your shipmates and working together. And that's what Grand Island, from the Grand Island High School to the tennis team, just a great community throughout. And you gotta love the Bills and the Sabres.
The DeClopper Memorial here on Grand Island, Medal of Honor winner here from World War II. He was killed in action on June 9th, 1944. So that were experiences that were brought up to us. I remember when I was in elementary school, some of the World War II veterans coming and talking to the classes, and that made really foundational difference about service to country.
Both senior officers credit their families, including their wives and children, and some with previous military ties, for supporting them in their careers. And now with threats across the horizon from Russia, China, and perhaps others, the realization they have a responsibility for nuclear missiles carried aboard their subs, Admiral Houston as the top sub-force chief with thousands under his overall command.
The submarine force right now is carrying 70% of our strategic deterrent on any single day, preventing war 365, 24/7 around the clock. And that's what the Navy, that's what DOD, and that's what we are here for America.
And Ron joins me now. Ron, really something to see both of them together, and just the coincidence of having two people from the same town, right? But you hear Vice Admiral Bill Houston's title. It sounds impressive, especially to people who know how the military ranking works, and it is very impressive. Just to give folks a sense of, frankly, the importance of this guy. You and I were talking, he was just featured on a network news program talking about how to avoid nuclear war with Russia. Kind of gives you a sense of just how highly ranked this guy is in the military.
Right. Again, these are senior commanders. Now, he's been in that role as chief of the submarine force for about 8 months. And Rear Admiral Worth, we want to point out, by the way, also taking on a major strategic role with targeting for some of those missiles. And he did an exclusive interview. We're talking about Bill Houston here, the Vice Admiral, with Martha Raddatz of ABC News, bringing her crew actually on board the USS Maine, one of those submarines described as one of the most destructive warships ever built, carrying 24 ballistic missiles, each capable of holding up to 12 nuclear warheads, which can be independently targeted. Vice Admiral Houston stressing the submarine's mission is one of deterrence, and he reacted to provocative statements from Russian President Vladimir Putin about nuclear war.
Vice Admiral Bill Houston is the commander of U.S. submarine forces, granting us exclusive access to this warship as tensions around the world grow.
We're in unprecedented times. When you take a look at the Cold War, it was United States and the Soviet Union as two nuclear competitors, potential adversaries. What you have now is you have China and Russia are near nuclear peer competitors against the United States.
And by the way, Mike, in that interview, Vice Admiral Houston says he's most comfortable underwater in submarines, saying, quote, "A pilot likes to be in the air. We like to be under the sea." By the way, I'm proud to say my nephew, Petty Officer 3rd Class Jonathan Plants, among them, who has served on the USS Rhode Island. And by the way, he's about 6'2", tight quarters down there.
Yeah, in that story, to ABC's credit, a really just incredible story on board that submarine. They talked about how they have 9 of them
Yes.
in these tiny little rooms. So they've got 3 sets of bunks, 3 on top of each other. 6'2" is not optimal in that situation, but I know how proud you are of him. I hope you got a chance to maybe give a little plug for him to maybe his bosses there
They
today.
said he's a squared away sailor, so there we go.
Very nice. So many Western New Yorkers, by the way, so proud to have these 2 native sons in these important positions. Ron Plant's reporting for us. Ron, thank you.
Thank you, Michael.